We are less than a week away from the 2025 NFL Draft, and we have the final list of draft visits for your Seattle Seahawks. We'll go over the full list of names coming up here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. And speaking of the draft, we need to send some good vibes to John Schneider and Mike McDonald's direction. If you want the Hawks to have a great draft, don't jinx it. I promise you, Seattle will select every single player you want if you like today's video. So don't jinx it. Don't make me come find you because you didn't like today's video. Hit that like button, and we'll get started with today's show. Now, some of the names that we're going to talk about today, you already know. We've discussed them previously on this show. We will go over those, but we do have some new names to get to of information that has come to our attention within the last couple of days. So let's go ahead and get started and begin with Jihaad Campbell, the linebacker from Alabama, who some regard as the best pure linebacker in this year's draft. Coming off a fantastic season with the Crimson Tide, 117 tackles, 12 TFLs, 5 sacks, 20 pressures, and 3 pass breakups. I think he's an option for Seattle at 18, but not necessarily the priority. Kind of depends on how the board falls where it may in Seattle's position. Another name to watch, this guy Seahawks fans have fallen in love with over the last several weeks, and that is Nick Emmanwori, the safety from South Carolina. And he had an outstanding season in the Southeastern Conference last year with 4 interceptions along with 2 pick sixes, 6 pass breakups, 88 tackles, in 3 TFLs. He was really, really good, and he's expected to be a high-quality starter at the next level. A name that is gaining a lot of traction is Tetairoa McMillan, the wide receiver from the University of Arizona, who had 2 great seasons with the Wildcats with 1,400-plus yards in 2023 and over 1,300 yards in 2024, 18 touchdowns combined in those 2 seasons. He's expected to be an explosive threat and could be a guy that could be the real replacement for DK Metcalf in the vertical passing game for Seattle. And if they don't go offensive line and McMillan is available at 18, all signs point to that there's a very decent chance that the Hawks end up selecting McMillan with that pick there at 18. So let's ask you, our pinned comment today, should the Seahawks draft Tetairoa McMillan at 18th overall? It's our pinned comment today. You got 2 options here. You're on the clock. Type D for draft, P for pass. Way in the comment section, let us know which way you lean. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get-to playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. Killer last-minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. And whether you're looking to go to an NBA playoff game or maybe it's just an event in Seattle, like seeing the Mariners or another team in the area, you choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat. See if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out just like that on Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Seattle Seahawks Today, where they offer last-minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, shows, theater productions, and more. Game Time Picks makes last-minute ticket buying easier than ever by quickly highlighting the best deals in the stadium. They have their zone deals where you can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. They're all in pricing, includes where if you toggle this feature, they'll show you the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. They have their seat views where you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price is guaranteed, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. One of the last visits for the Hawks was Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan. And he is not expected to still be on the board when Seattle picks at 18. But if he is still available, Mike Macdonald's going to be very tempted to bring this guy in. He was a player that played under Mike Macdonald there with the Michigan Wolverines, and his statistics were just incredible in his time there with Big Blue, as he had 3 interceptions in 2022, 4 interceptions in 2023, and 2 interceptions in 2024, in 3 total pick sixes. He was fantastic, and he's going to be hard to pass up on if he slips there to 18. Then at the edge rusher position, we find Shamar Stewart, who's seen his stock climb up quite a bit. Shamar Stewart last season had 1.5 sacks, 39 pressures, 1 forced fumble. Although there's not a ton of production there, he is quite the freak athlete. The quarterback probably most likely to watch if you're the Hawks is Jalen Milroe out of Alabama, who had a visit just a few days ago with the Hawks. And Milroe, an incredible athlete. He's got question marks when it comes to his passing ability with his accuracy, but he's got a cannon for an arm. We know he can run. There are questions. Is he a quarterback at the next level? Is a tight end potentially? But there might be some flexibility for Clint Kubiak to find a spot for Jalen Milroe. Tyler Shough also on this list, the Louisville quarterback who is rising up boards very fast. And there's even discussions about him going in the first round now. And when you look at Shough, there's hard to find too many flaws in his game. He was very efficient as a passer at Louisville last season with 24 total touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, threw for over 3,000 yards. He is a bit older, and he does have some injury history, but the raw intangibles are there when it comes to Tyler Shough. Should the Seahawks draft a quarterback? It's been a big topic of discussion. John Schneider says he wants to draft a quarterback. Drew Lock, the signing of him apparently is not going to stop Seattle from looking at their options at the quarterback position. What say you? Your chance to be the GM here on Seahawks Today. Type Y for yes, in for no, if Seattle should draft a QB or not. We'll be live for the 2025 NFL Draft right here on Seattle Seahawks Today on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We'll be breaking down all the picks in real time. Don't miss out our live coverage of the 2025 NFL Draft right here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV, and we will see you on Thursday night right here on Seahawks Today. Mykel Williams, the edge rusher from Georgia, also a name to watch, and Mykel Williams had a fantastic run with the Georgia Bulldogs. They have put out some fantastic defensive players over the years, and Williams looks to carry that on. Coming off of 3 straight seasons with at least 4.5 sacks. Also did a really good job of creating turnovers with 3 forced fumbles in the last 2 seasons. Savion Williams out of TCU. There's not a ton of production there, but there is some raw athleticism that he brings. He's very fast, a very shifty receiver. And the hope is with Savion Williams that his best football is still in front of him. He certainly needs to be developed if he's going to take that next step. TCU with a couple of good receivers to watch there. Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU. He is related to Joy Taylor of FS1, if you know, you know. He had a pretty solid season at LSU this past season with over 55 catches for 546 yards. 2 touchdown grabs. I would like to see him more of a red zone threat. That's kind of what Seattle's looking for their tight ends, as they don't really have that much with Noah Fant. But Mason Taylor expected to be either a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Also on the list is Shavon Revel Jr., the corner out of East Carolina. He was a preseason All-American. He was off to a great start this year with 2 interceptions, a pick 6, 4 pass breakups, and then he got hurt and he was out for the remainder of the season. And if Revel would have stayed healthy, he would have been a surefire first-round pick. That did not happen, but could be a nice find if he can stay healthy, a name to watch in round 2 for Seattle. Who's a player the Seahawks should draft? We've gone over a number of names that they've spent their top 30 visits with. Who comes to mind for you? Give us a name in the comments section. Georgia, man, they're all over this list today. And Jared Wilson is included on this. We had him in a mock draft earlier this week to Seattle, and Jared Wilson was very good with the Bulldogs this past season, not allowing a single sack. His grades across the board were very solid with an overall grade of 79.6, pass block grade of 84.9, and a run block grade of 76.0. and he's expected to come in to whatever team he's drafted by and compete for a starting job immediately. Bryce Cabeldue, love seeing this guy on the list, the Kansas Jayhawk offensive lineman, and he's seen his stock climb quite a bit as well with some really good grades this past season, according to PFF. His overall grade at 80, pass block grade at 80.2, run block grade at 76.6. I do find the other two statistics a little bit alarming. 3 sacks is a bit high off of 700-plus snaps, 6 penalties. So he's got some stuff to clean up, but there is some real material to work with there. Dylan Fairchild, another offensive lineman from the Georgia Bulldogs, also getting a visit with Seattle. And his numbers, really good when it came to pass blocking, 87.0. Run blocking, not bad, 71.8 with an overall grade of 74.6. Allowed just 1 sack, and I got called for 4 penalties. Then we have Esa Pohl out of Washington State, one of the local names to potentially watch. And with Pohl, he's a bit of a project. Pass blocking was outstanding with an 85.8 grade, but the run blocking, not so much. A 57.3 grade for him. Did not allow a single sack, though. Got called for 3 penalties. He could be a name to watch in day 3, potentially for Seattle. Some other names, Ty Robinson, defensive lineman from Nebraska, also making this list, and he had a breakout season in 2024 with 7 total sacks, 42 pressures, folks, along with 4 pass breakups, 37 tackles, and 13 TFLs. He was very good for the Cornhuskers this past season, and when you see that he played the same amount of games, basically, in 2023 and in 2022, and that big jump in production, you wonder what happened. Like, was this version that we saw in 2024 here to stay? We shall see. What's the biggest need for the Seahawks in this year's draft? And if you're going to say offensive line, be specific, please. Tell me where on the offensive line. Interior, guard, center, tackle? What is it? Let me know what the biggest need is. Princely Yu, the edge rusher from Ole Miss, also making this list as well of visits. And there was a lot of production at 2 different schools within the Southeastern Conference, the best league in college football, as he had 4.5 sacks in 2022, 7 in 2023. Then he joins Ole Miss this year and up that number to 10.5. And typically, when we're talking about these college edge rushers, there's usually a lack of big numbers just because the game is so much different at the college level than the pro numbers, but that's not the case with Princely at all. He's got the numbers to back it up. Another local name, Mykel Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State, and he had a great year in 2024 with nearly 1,200 yards, 14 total touchdowns, 17.1 yards of reception. I like Mykel Williams, and I think he's a sleeper name to keep an eye on in day 3. A few more here for you. Chase Lundt, the offensive lineman from UConn, the same school as Christian Haynes. They played together there with the Huskies, and Haynes competing for one of the starting guard spots this year. And his numbers across the board really good. 86.6 overall grade, pass block grade 73.8, run block grade of 87. Did not allow a sack. I called for just 2 penalties. 2 more for you. Cam Alexander, Oregon corner, also making this list as well. And this one's a bit of a head-scratcher because we did not hardly see him play much at Oregon. He was solid at UTSA with 2 interceptions, 15 pass breakups, and 34 tackles. But then this year with the Oregon Ducks, even though he played in 12 games, did not have a whole lot to show for it. So I don't know why they used one of his visits on him, but they did. So I can't say I'll be too excited if they make that selection for Alexander there if they decide to do so. Another name, speaking of UTSA, is Za Frazier at the corner position. And he's drawn some comparisons to another former UTSA player that's right here in Seattle, Reek Woolen, as much like Reek, extremely productive when it comes to turnovers with 6 interceptions last season, 1 forced fumble, 24 tackles, and 1 TFL. A hell of an athlete there, Za Frazier is, and a name to potentially keep an eye on. In total, the Seahawks have 10 total draft picks in 2025. It all begins at 18 overall. Then they have 2 second-round picks at 50 and at 52. Then they have a third-round pick at 82, and they'll be picking again just 10 spots lower at 92 overall. And then 5 more picks to follow after that. Round 4, they pick at 137, a 5th-round pick at 172, followed by another 5th-round pick at 175, a 6th-round pick at 185, and then another 7th-round pick, or their only 7th-round pick, rather, at 234. So we'll see if any of these names potentially slide in to one of those spots. And, of course, just because they visit doesn't mean they're going to end up here. And just because a player did not visit does not mean they aren't going to end up here. There was plenty of meetings the Hawks had with players at the scouting combine and the outside circuits like the Senior Bowl and the East-West Shrine game and such. So we'll see what ultimately ends up there. If you enjoyed today's show, you want the Seahawks to have a great draft, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.